Now on Studio G, Las Vegas new soccer team has revealed its logo. We have the details about the design.
Plus, ever been too scared to go inside a haunted house? Want to know what it's like? Joaquin Lomeli will give you a first-hand look.
And the city of Salem is known for its witch trials, but they also love to celebrate Halloween. We'll take a look at this popular event.
Don't go anywhere. Studio G starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Studio G. I'm Jessica Vargas.
And I'm Caitlin Knapp. Las Vegas is one step closer to a soccer team. The Las Vegas Lights Football Club recently unveiled its logo. It features a black diamond that spells out in bright neon colors from top to bottom, LV Lights FC. The logo was created after 400 fans submitted ideas. The Las Vegas Lights got its name from a poll back in August, which received over 10,000 votes. The team was first approved back in July by the Las Vegas City Council. Now the Lights are scheduled to begin their season in February.
Over 50 years have passed since the assassination of then-President John F. Kennedy. Now the files regarding the incident have been released to the public. These files reveal details that were not public knowledge. One piece of information is how Lee Harvey Oswald met with the Russian embassy prior to the assassination. Other details include potential plots to kill Fidel Castro and suspicions of then Vice President Lyndon Johnson being involved with the KKK. To find out more, To learn more, go to archive.org.
Two former Trump campaign officials turned themselves in yesterday. This stems from the investigation into campaign ties with Russia. CNN's Natasha Chen has more.
The White House on Monday distancing themselves from the indictments of former Trump campaign officials Paul Manafort and Rick Gates.
Today's announcement has nothing to do with the president, has nothing to do with the president's campaign or campaign activity.
Manafort and Gates pleaded not guilty in federal district court in Washington Monday afternoon after surrendering to federal authorities earlier in the day.
I think you all saw today that President Donald Trump was correct. There is no evidence that Mr. Manafort or the Trump campaign colluded with the Russian government.
These initial charges do not cover any activities related to the 2016 campaign, but it's possible additional charges could come later. The indictment against Manafort and Gates contains 12 counts, including conspiracy against the United States, conspiracy to launder money, unregistered agent of a foreign principal, false and misleading U.S. Foreign Agents Registration Act statements, false statements, and 7 counts of failure to file reports of foreign bank and financial accounts. Additionally, newly unsealed records today show that George Papadopoulos, a former foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign, has pleaded guilty for making false statements to the FBI. Trump's attorney, Jay Sekulow, said the president will not interfere as Mueller continues his work.
The president is not interfering with Special Counsel Mueller's position. He's not firing the special counsel. He said that before. I'm not concerned about where this goes. Obviously, I think one thing this does establish is special counsel's moving expeditiously, and that's, I think, good for the country and good for the president.
President Trump has responded to the indictments. He claims that the issue with Manafort is irrelevant and the focus should be on Hillary Clinton and the Democrats.
Also happening in Washington, parts of President Trump's transgender military ban was blocked by a federal judge on Monday. The president first revealed the initial details of the ban on Twitter back in July. A court has stopped the military from enforcing a rule to prohibit transgender people from enlisting or re-enlisting. The judge said that the ban may violate transgender people's rights to due process. Plaintiffs in the case have spoke out and said the ban goes against equality on transgender people and violates the Fifth Amendment. However, the court has decided to uphold the part of the ban where military personnel cannot have sex reassignment surgery.
More allegations against Hollywood celebrities are coming out. House of Cards' Kevin Spacey is accused of sexual harassment against Star Trek Discovery actor Anthony Rapp. In an interview with BuzzFeed, Rapp said he was 14 when Spacey made unwanted sexual advances toward him. Spacey then responded on Twitter saying that he does not remember the encounter, but apologizes all the same. Spacey also used the response as an opportunity to come out as gay. This response received heavy criticism, especially from the LGBT community. Netflix originally stated that the next season of House of Cards would be its last, but have since suspended production.
In lighter news, the World Series will continue at 5 p.m. today for what could possibly be the final game. The Houston Astros are currently up 3-2 in the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Astros only need to win one more game to take the trophy. Game 5, the most recently played game in the series, was also the most intense yet. The Astros barely beat the Dodgers Sunday night, but they squeaked a win 13-12. In that game, the Astros became the first team to have 5 different players hit a home run in the World Series.
Wasn't that one of the longest games in history?
It was over 5 hours long, 5.5 hours, I think it was. But wow. But what a game, though.
This has been a crazy World Series. Did you watch the whole thing, 5 hours?
I didn't watch the whole 5 hours. I started watching from the beginning, then kind of went away towards the middle, came back towards the end, and just saw the ending, and it was incredible. I mean, both teams are hungry. They want to get that win. They're very close. And the Astros right now they have 3-2. So if they win this game, Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah. And Game 4, Haley Dawson, she's a Las Vegas resident. The UNLV engineering department actually made her a 3D hand, and she was able to throw it out. So having a local there is absolutely amazing. Cute little 7-year-old.
Definitely the cutest.
Well, as we arrive at the end of October, the temperature seems to finally be cooling off. Could this be the case for the rest of the week and for Halloween tonight?
Brianna Haney has a look at your school week's forecast. Bri?
Good afternoon, Rebels. I'm Brianna Haney with your Tuesday weather forecast. It looks like we're going to have beautiful weather conditions today, perfect for your Halloween holiday. Our current weather is 66 degrees with an expected daytime high of 80 and an overnight low of 58 degrees. Now taking a look at our weather across the valley. Looks like we're continuing that trend of 60s and 70s in the morning. Our current high temperature is in Boulder City at 70 degrees and our low is in Centennial at 62. Turning now to our national forecast. It seems in the Midwest we have some fog in the Nebraska area. Then down in Texas we have thunderstorms coming up through the Gulf. On the East Coast we're seeing beautiful sunny skies, weather in the 70s and 60s. Then in Michigan, we have a mixture of snow and ice. And on the West Coast, beautiful, partly sunny conditions. Which brings me to the picture of the day. This comes to us from the Weather Channel in Maine. Over yesterday, there was substantial storms on the East Coast that caused flooding in some areas and even led to school closures. But the good news is that the storm has passed and there were no injuries reported at all. Which brings me to the 5-day forecast. I mentioned earlier that today we're going to have a daytime high of 80 degrees. Then we're going to see those numbers creep down slowly through the week. Tomorrow we're going to be in at 79, Thursday 78, Friday 75, and also Saturday 75 degrees as well. Our overnight temperatures will be in the 50s across the board. And here on the UNLV campus, it's currently 70 degrees with 10 miles of visibility, calm winds, and 38% humidity. And if you're here overnight celebrating the Halloween holiday, it's going to be 59 degrees as our low temperature, winds at 6 to 8 miles per hour. Clear, cool conditions, perfect for catching up on some Netflix, maybe season 2 of Stranger Things. And that's all the weather I have for you today. Back to you.
Thank you, Bree. Now, coming up, a major Halloween event is returning to Town Square in Las Vegas.
Plus, not looking to be outdone, UNLV opened its doors once again for its Halloween event. Details about these events after the break. We'll be right back.
Doing my show, I love all types of rock, and that's why I'm doing Rock Through the Decades. We play the 50s all the way to today's rock music or rock bands. I want them to get the appreciation of how much rock has changed over the years and how it's still really great. You can never kill rock. I mean, rock is like the way to be, the way to go. The name of my show is Rock Through the Decades, and I am Rockin' Gemini. You can listen to this on the Rebel HD2 network.
Our Metropolis is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our Metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
The show's name is the Rebel and Revolt Show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt Show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
Welcome back to Studio G.
Here are a few of today's top stories.
Town Scary returns to Town Square. The event will turn the shopping area into a Halloween-themed town where children of all ages can trick-or-treat at participating stores and restaurants. No baskets will be provided, so children will have to bring their own. Other activities include games, costume contests, and a dance party. Town Square will close nearby streets for the duration of the event. The event is free and open to the public. We can head over from 4 to 7.
Looking for something to do tonight? Joaquin Lomeli is out in the field checking out a haunted house that has everyone spooked around the valley.
Happy Halloween and good afternoon, everyone. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking. Good afternoon, isn't it supposed to be sunny out there? Well, the thing is, I'm actually inside one of the local Las Vegas haunted houses right now. In this one, it's called the Asylum. It's off of 95 and Valley View in the Meadows Mall lot. So we came out here to look at some of the local haunted houses to see what's got everybody spooked around here. So come on, let's just take a look. Let's walk down this hallway. And we're going to go ahead and look for Rich. He's going to talk to us about this haunted house that we're in right now that's called Asylum. So let's take a look around over here. Whoa! Whoa! All right. Rich, thank you guys very much for letting us stop by and check this place out. So talk to us about some of the inspiration when it came to creating and, really putting emphasis on this haunted house. Talk to us a little bit about what people can expect when coming down.
Well, hopefully you expect to get scared, but at least we want you to be entertained. This is our 19th season, so we've been around in Vegas for a long time. We started out with the Asylum, and then we added a few years later we added the Hotel Fear. While they have their separate themes and their separate identities, they actually have an overall storyline that combines both attractions together. So there's a whole storyline about the doctor, Dr. Vander, that was here at the Asylum, and then Mortimer from the Hotel Fiore, and he ended up actually treating Mortimer. Said that instead of just treating him, he said he actually cured him of his insanity, sent him back to the hotel, and he killed everyone. So, so now your job when you get into the hotel is you have to find room 13 because it's the only safe place in the haunt.
What are you doing in my bar? You're supposed to be looking for room 13! Try this door! Try all your doors.
So you have to find room 13.
So we got that secret door over here. And it looks like it's like a hallway, a deep hallway with more doors around.
Yeah, so now your problem is to find room 13, but the problem is...
all of them are room number 13.
Yeah, so again, the hotel makes you kind of think, makes you go through it. You have to find room 13. The concept being that there was also Adriana was the only one not killed, and she was in room 13. So that's your mission in this hotel is to find room 13, so you're not one of the people left behind. So so we'll leave here and we'll head on down to the kitchen.
Great.
Kitchens are fun.
Sounds good.
So again, for more information, make sure you come out tonight because this is your last chance, and that'll be till midnight tonight. We stop selling tickets at midnight. For more information, you can go to LasVegasHaunts.com.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for letting us stop by and just check out both of these haunted houses. Well, thank you very much, and back to you guys in the studio.
First of all, no.
Yeah.
I do not do haunted houses. I have sweaty palms when I go in, and just, no, I'm glad we sent him.
Okay, so you would not have survived if you would have gone in there.
No, not at all.
Well,
how about you?
With me, I'm actually, nothing really scares me when I go to haunted houses, so I think I'll be a really good person to get in there.
I'm going to scare you later.
If you can, we'll see.
I got you.
Nobody can scare me. I don't know.
That's usually what they say before they get scared.
Oh, is that right?
So
okay.
We're going to test the limits a little bit.
We're going to have to try
but
that out.
I'm glad he went out there because, again, I would not be able to do that. There's this one place I went to before in Idaho, wanted to test out the limits a little bit, and this haunted house took an hour to walk through.
Oh, wow.
So it was absolutely insane. Another one took 20 minutes. So they're so intricate nowadays. Wow. There's so much technology involved in it, and it's just, it's amazing.
Incredible.
What's the best one you've been to?
The best one? That's a very good question. I guess I would have to say the circus. What is it, the Fright Dome?
Fright Dome?
Fright Dome was pretty good. I just went in there, was Sunday night. But it was nice. We went to this one that was only for the Fast Pass, and it was called Lights Out. It was really good. It definitely got a lot of people scared. Got my brother as well. So.
We had them come into where I work, and it was absolutely crazy. They're scaring everybody, and I'm like, no. Something's gonna happen. It might be bad. I just can't do it. Even when I go to people's houses to look at the decorations, I'm always on my toes. I'm like, okay, is something gonna pop out? Is something going to pop out? Like at work today, I got scared by a witch that was that big, and then I went into our break room, and there was this huge skull. It was dark. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna move. I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna get fired for, you know, ripping this down. It was just insane.
Okay, so I should not scare you after then. I think I'll really freak you out.
Please don't.
All right.
Please don't.
All right, another Halloween news. Candy has always been a part of the tradition every Halloween, but be careful what kind of candy your kids are getting this time around. The state of New Jersey has issued a warning to parents to be wary of marijuana-laced candy when their kids go trick-or-treating. The warning was issued by New Jersey's Attorney General's office. In the warning, parents are advised to look out for suspicious candy. Packaging, most of the time, brand name candy and marijuana-laced candy have similar packaging. The main difference between the two is how they smell. Back in May, a 10-year-old boy mistakenly ate pot-infused gummies and had to be rushed to an emergency room. That incident is one of the reasons this warning was sent out.
Boo Bash is a major UNLV tradition with help from individuals and group. The Tonopah Complex Council has put on Boo Bash every Halloween for many years, now as a service to a local youth shelter and the UNLV community. The UNLV Boo Bash occurred yesterday, October 30th, and it was a great turnout for all families. Lines were out the door, and many were excited to see what kind of games and decorations the Student Union had for Boo Bash.
I'm part of SNDA, and we're here at UNLV. We're providing healthy snacks for children, and here we are making pumpkins out of cuties, and everything is edible so they can eat the stem, which is celery. We're making ghosts, we call them bananas, out of bananas and little dark chocolate chips, and everything is edible and healthy snacks for the kids, so stop on by and come see us.
This event took place in the Student Union of UNLV, where they had a decorating contest, face painting games for kids, many haunted houses, and much more. Boo Bash gives local underprivileged children and their families a safe and fun place to trick-or-treat and enjoy Halloween festivities, of course. Each year, almost 1,000 kids and their families attend the event.
My son is about to turn 12 years old, and just having all the kids here and seeing all their smiling faces really makes my day a lot better. And just being able to provide them healthy snacks also, and supporting SNDA. You know, that everybody eats candy all the time, and we want to be able to show them that there are other snacks that are good for you and taste well too.
This was a great event for the kids and their families because they got a chance to trick-or-treat a day early and play games. Don't miss out on the event next year.
Coming up, a shooting in the Utah and culprit is still on the loose.
And the White House Chief of Staff caused controversy with his recent comments. More Studio G after the break.
Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
It's awesome. I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought it was just going to be fun, just me in a room playing music. And it's blossomed into something beyond what I imagined. Like, people just love it. There's like, a lot of people are eager and excited to be a part of UNLV radio. A lot of people didn't even know UNLV had a radio station, so I'm glad to be bringing that awareness to the Vegas community.
It feels great. You know, it's a great accomplishment because it starts as something that nobody knows about. You get to build it from the ground up. So it builds your work ethic. It also gives you a sense of accomplishment when it's like, man, we made it. We did something. We made something that nobody else has made. So
it's great to be part of the student community and having to bring something to the student body with music, which is one of my passions.
I feel like it's giving me a voice, and not just for me, but for people who has had something they are passionate about. And I just want to, keep that conversation going and let other people see what we're talking about here.
It's amazing to have an opportunity to play whatever it is that you want to play. It's also a great way to connect and meet with new artists, great people, just music lovers in general.
What's up, it's your girl Scribe Cash. This is
the Prince Madison. This is the Takeover.
Played by the Video Games Live Orchestra.
Yeah, on Twitter, at Miles Low Music and Action.
Welcome back to Studio G.
One person was shot and killed just off the campus of the University of Utah. Police say the primary suspect, Austin Bouton, should be considered armed and dangerous. The victim was inside a vehicle when the shots were fired. Police Sergeant Brandon Shearer provides the currently known details of the suspect.
Again, the picture, he has a tattoo of a cross on his right eye. It also appears he has a couple tattoos on his neck. And we have his name and age. That's all we have at this time. We're doing a background to try and figure out all we can about him.
White House Chief of Staff John Kelly recently came under fire for his comments about what caused the Civil War. CNN reporter, Alex Marquardt has more on the story.
The White House Chief of Staff John Kelly says a lack of compromise was the root cause of the Civil War. In a Fox News interview, he was asked about the removal of historic but controversial plaques honoring George Washington and General Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee was an honorable man. He was a man that gave up his country to fight for his state, which in 150 years ago was more important than country. It was always loyalty to state first back in those days. Now it's different today. But the lack of an ability to compromise led to the Civil War. And men and women of good faith on both sides made their stand.
Now, in his comments to Fox News, Kelly made no mention of slavery, the aspect that many consider to be the cause of the Civil War.
The Clark County School District will use a $15 million federal grant to launch 3 new magnet programs. Gearing Elementary, Lead Middle School, and O'Callahan Middle School will be converted into magnet schools. The change is set to allow thousands of students stuck on the waiting list to apply. These 3 schools are set to focus on science, tech, engineering, and math. The application process will gradually be phased in at each school. Students who are currently attending these schools will not have to reapply.
Tomorrow marks 1 month since the Route 91 Harvest Festival tragedy. Today, lawyers went to the festival site. A judge recently approved a court order that would allow attorneys to go to the site, and those attorneys represent the victims. Now they are gathering evidence at the concert grounds. This includes photographs and making diagrams. However, they haven't gained access to the hotel room of the shooter, Stephen Paddock. Right now, vendors are not able to get their property because of the court order. Once all evidence is collected, they will be allowed to gather their equipment.
Coming up, Salem, Massachusetts is looking to have a potential record-breaking crowd.
Why? The details are coming up after these messages.
Get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for journalism majors. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Our Metropolis is a 30-minute show that airs every Tuesday evening at 91.5. You're going to hear Dr. Gary Larson along with our regular contributors talking about what matters to our community. And not only what matters, but why does it matter? We look at our community as a whole, but we also pay special attention to what's happening here at UNLV because that's our home as well. So looking at our Metropolis through the lens of a radio show really gives us the unique perspective to tell a story through words and through people, and I think it makes for a great program.
We are member supported. KUNV 91.5, The Source. Here's why you should become a member. Become a part of the public radio family while keeping jazz alive in Southern Nevada. Every member receives a discount card to businesses and restaurants around the valley, along with a premium of KUNV branded items, exclusive access to KUNV ticket giveaways for concerts and events, and private members-only events with prominent musicians such as Paul Taylor, Vincent Ingala, and many more. We are 91.5 The Source, and that source is you. So become a member today.
While Salem, Massachusetts is known for the infamous witch trials from centuries ago, it's known nowadays for its massive Halloween celebration. CNN reporter Matt Reed has more on the story.
Potentially historic day in Salem.
If we don't have a record crowd, it's close to a record crowd.
Crowds estimated at more than 100,000 people, packed with ghosts and clowns.
We all float down here.
Filing into the city.
It's been crowded elbow to elbow since 8 a.m.
It's amazing. So many different costumes. I mean, I love it. I love Halloween.
The crowd's so large that traffic had to be closed on Washington Street, and some vendors doing 3 times as much business as last year.
It's mobbed. It's absolutely mobbed. It was busy last year, but they've extended this street and it's surreal.
So far, the crowd's only causing minor problems for Salem police, who are working alongside state and federal authorities.
Medical age, lost children, little things that happen that take some of our officers, away from some of their other duties, for, watching and, being vigilant about what's going on.
But with crowds like this, safety is always the top priority. That's why officers will be stationed on every corner of the downtown area, and armed officers will be placed on rooftops and inside of buildings. Police also asking the public to do their part, to not fly drones in the area, not drink in public, and notify officers if you see anything suspicious.
Salem holds Halloween-themed events all throughout the month, with the Saturday prior to Halloween usually being the busiest. Over 250,000 people attended this event every year.
That's all the time we have for today.
Join us tomorrow for more local and national news right here on Studio G. Have a spooky Halloween, Rebels.